Hi, welcome back. I thought it was time for a little nostalgia review here on my channel, mainly because you all have been tagging me in this. This was something I wasn't even aware was out. And I started getting tags on Instagram, DMs on Instagram, some comments here on YouTube. A lot of you still come to my channel for this particular brand, and of course it's bareMinerals. So they've released a pressed version of the original powder, which it sounds very intriguing. You know, I feel like a lot of people have asked through this throughout the years and they gave us Bare Pro, but there was just something definitely different to the aura, to the vibe of the Bare Pro powder. And so this is being marketed basically as the original powder foundation, just in a pressed compact form. So I wanted to give you a little speed review. I've had this for about 2.5, 3 weeks now, so I've definitely had time to test this out. And I feel like I can give you a proper rundown in a good 10-minute time frame. So I'm hoping we can keep it at that mark. But let's start out with my shade. I am Neutral Ivory number 6 currently. That's what I'm wearing. Here in a few weeks, I'll probably drop back down to fairly light. So if you want to base it off of the shades that I wear, this is the shade I'm currently wearing. Again, Neutral Ivory number 6, but fairly light was always just my go-to for the winter months. So this obviously comes in a very chic compact, very similar to the Bare Pro powder. Now, some of you are going to have to do some investigating for me because I was under the impression that this was a refillable compact, mainly because a couple of the shades that they sent me, when you pop open this plastic part, you can see that there's a little pan that just pops out. However, when I went to the bareMinerals website and Ulta, I don't believe this is on Sephora, at least I didn't see it on there, I cannot find anything on there about refills for this product. So I'm sorry to say I don't have the full info on that. Either I am glazing over it and totally missing it, but I searched the bareMinerals website, I searched Ulta's panel for, when you go to choose this product, and I'm not seeing pan refills. So maybe it's something that they're planning to roll out later. Maybe it's on there and I'm just not seeing it, but I did want to bring that to your attention because I think that would be really cool. We love a sustainable and resourceful queen. Now let's get into application on this. I love that they brought back a brush that they are already marketing that some of you probably already have in your collection, and that's Precision Face Brush. This brush has been used for, I believe Bare Pro is when they rolled out the Precision Face Brush. Now to me, this one feels a little bit softer than how they used to make them. And again, I'm kind of out of the loop here. I've been on my minimalist no-buy journey when it comes to makeup. So it could be that that's just how this brush is made now. But I love that it's a little bit more delicate, a little bit softer. So the way that they recommend applying this is simply taking the Precision Face Brush, tapping a couple times, and then sweeping onto the skin. And that's honestly how I've been applying it. I tried it a couple of days just pressing into the skin. Not really functional, no reason to do that. I would definitely say sweeping motions is the best way to apply this. So that is a little bit of a difference compared to the original bareMinerals powder. With that one, you definitely want to swirl and buff into the skin. Now, I have to tell you right off the bat, I already liked this first impression. The first day I tried this, I liked it 1,000 times better than I did the Bare Pro powder. I felt like it was more emollient. It definitely went on a little bit more even. When you pick the product up on the brush, you could actually see it, as opposed to the Bare Pro. I felt like it was a really hard packed pressed powder. So this has a little bit more give to it. And upon first application, I would say I get a good light coverage. Like if I take this brush and I just do a very small press and sweep over the skin, I'm almost immediately getting a light coverage out of it. I would definitely say this is a buildable powder. How buildable depends on what you consider to be medium coverage, full coverage. The claim on this powder is that you can go from sheer to full. I personally don't think it can get to full coverage. Maybe a medium full, but I have sat there and applied multiple layers after multiple layers of this powder, and I just feel like I can't seem to get it past a medium coverage, which I'm totally fine with. In the time and era that I am in my life right now, I barely have time to put on makeup, okay? So this has been a pleasant surprise. I really have been enjoying this because it gives me the perfect amount of coverage for daily wear. So So if you are someone that really depends on higher full coverage, you might want to wear something like a Complexion Rescue underneath this. You might want to go in with something like a Well Rested concealer for some bonus coverage, because I'd be willing to bet most of you watching this who do wear full coverage, you would probably agree with me that this builds up to, I think it's like a solid medium coverage. So a few other claims I wanted to go over and just give my personal opinion on. This is coming from, I'm actually on the Ulta website, but I'm pretty sure this came from the bareMinerals website. So it says, sheer to full coverage, naturally luminous finish, while instantly hydrating, reducing redness, and improving skin's barrier function. I have to say that I do not find this powder particularly hydrating. That is one thing that, actually the first day I got this in, I applied it and I was like, man, this would really pop off if I had some setting spray. And I didn't have any of my collection at the time, so I had to go through my little PR closet where I keep some of my PR products. I did end up finding one from Pixi, and I've been applying that setting mist on top of the powder. 10 out of 10 makes a huge difference. If you have dry skin, I personally do not think that you will enjoy wearing this as is. You're definitely going to want to go in with moisturizer beforehand, prep the skin accordingly, and I would be willing to say you will need some type of finishing mist, setting mist to give a little bit more hydration to break up. I don't want to say that this feels powdery on the skin, but I definitely notice it to be a little bit more drying on me compared to the original powder foundation. I also am just not seeing where the luminosity claim is coming from with this. To me, it is totally matte. Like when I apply it to my skin, I'm not seeing it. Let me know if you've had that same experience, because I have been looking daily. Like I said, I've had this for almost 3 weeks now, and I'm looking and I'm not seeing it all. However, despite that, I really like how this looks on my skin, and I really like how it lasts on my skin. So let's talk about longevity really quickly. This has just as good longevity as the original powder foundation, the matte powder foundation. I always found those to be super long wearing on me. I have dry skin. Some of you who have oily combination skin say otherwise. It's really subjective, but I do think that if you have combination oily skin, like, I don't know how you wouldn't like this, because it does have a very good longevity. And like I said, I feel like it sits on the skin more matte to flat. Now, I would be interested to see if this even has mica in it, because mica is what used to give the original powder foundation that luminous finish. And I'm looking on the ingredients right now. I'm not seeing the mica on here. And again, there could be some reformulation happening with the original. They may not even use that in the original anymore. I'm just kind of regurgitating what I used to remember when I actually worked for bareMinerals, and the mica is what gave the skin the luminosity. So what you're seeing on my cheeks right now, this luminous finish, is a Westman Atelier highlighter. I did go in and put a little bit of highlight on my skin. You'll see in the demo that I show, I'm hoping it's going to show really not much luminosity is coming from it. Now, when I go in and I spray my little mist over the top, I feel like it pops off. It looks great on my skin after that. So let's talk about who this particular foundation would be ideal for. And to me, that's the combination oily family. I'm just seeing this being like a very good daily wear powder. If you have oil breakthrough, if you have oily acne prone skin, this would be something I think that could look really smooth, really even, and also maintain a natural finish. Now, not to say that a normal to dry skin type could not wear this. I'm normal to dry, mainly dry most of the time, and I just have to make sure that I moisturize my skin really well before applying, and then I have to go in with a little bit of a setting mist to break. You know the feeling if you're dry, you just apply that mist and immediately everything just feels right with the world. That's what I have to do with this powder, and I think it looks amazing. After I've done that, I'm like, we're good to go. Longevity, again, I'm gonna insert some photos. I probably won't have any like video shots at the end of the day, but I will insert some photos of what my skin looks like by the end of the day. I don't find this to look crepey. I don't find it to, you know, go into lines, wrinkles. I really find it to look super natural, and at the worst, you know, maybe like faded in a few areas. And so I have to say, I'm pretty proud of bareMinerals for the formulation on this powder, because it definitely brings back the nostalgia vibes. For the longest time, I feel like they have been rebranding and following these trend cycles. They're just not the essence of bareMinerals. We love bareMinerals for the nostalgia. We love bareMinerals for those classic products that you can't get anywhere else. And so this is one of the few. I know people back in the day, they used to beg for a pressed powder. And so I know that they released Bare Pro, but it was just on a different wavelength. You know, Bare Pro was marketed as something that was totally away from the original foundation. They didn't have any type of ties. And so I really appreciate that they tied in the original powder to some extent with this press formula. Do I think they're the same? Absolutely not. But you can get quick, accessible, natural coverage with both. And the longevity is phenomenal on this new one as well. I definitely think it's worth trying, especially if you are a bareMinerals fan. I have been using it every single day. It's super easy. It's very smooth when you touch it. You definitely get good payoff upon first application. And if you're okay with just kind of maxing out at that medium coverage level, then I think you would be totally fine with this. And if you've found ways to apply this where you do get the full coverage, let me know how you're applying it. I have literally only tried it with the Precision face brush. So other than that, I would say yes, I have been enjoying it. There are some things that I like to do to tweak it to fit my skin type better, but I do that with a lot of foundations, so no complaints there. Let me know if you have tried this. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you are pleased with bareMinerals on this new launch, I would love to know what your feedback is. And if someone can, yeah, let me know what's going on with like the refill situation, because I thought it was refillable, but I'm just not seeing that online anywhere. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.